Hello there. Welcome and welcome back to The Whole Bucket. I am Cheryl. This is The Whole Bucket. Okay, the art department of The Whole Bucket. And I just said that recently, didn't I? And this is Defemember, Vintage Meets Modern Day. Here is how the recycled fairy page ended up yesterday. Well, you know, recording versus released video time. Well, anyway, this is how the recycled fairy page ended up. And I have taken it back out because the other side is completely empty. We're going to break a blank page. So you can see that if you watched that one anyway, you can see that this idea kind of changed. We got Effie involved. I did figure out a nice thing for Effie to be standing on. Only a couple leaves went behind him, but I did find a couple that set him off nicely, and I added a little touch up there. We'll get to breaking this blank page in just a couple of minutes. First, let's talk about Vietnam. I chose number 13 for my addition to the prompt and for the country of our snack. The country of our snack today is Vietnam, and I have this little cake item from the Hura Deli. I don't know how to say it actually because it's Vietnamese, you know. And the box, I'm going to try this. Oh, that's not nearly as bad as I thought if I hold it at an angle. So, milk strawberry flavored layer cake. And if I tip it like this, it doesn't glare, but this is a giant, shiny box. So I didn't really know how much I wanted to put it in the camera. As well as the package. I mean, this little package is pretty glary all on its own. But let's take a look at what's in it. So a little cake, like it said, right? This looks a lot like the cakes you would get at an Asian buffet. In that it is super thin layers of a yellow sheet cake. I'm going to give it a try, and then we're going to get busy. Okay. So it doesn't act okay. So at first I didn't get any strawberry flavor. At the very end I got some strawberry flavor, but it's definitely artificial strawberry. So it tastes like candy strawberry. I'm not sure what the milk cream is. I want to try that. And the sponge is a lot like pound cake. It's rather dense. It's a little spongy. The milk filling is very greasy. It's coating my tongue with greasiness. Huh. Okay. Well, obviously, I have no trouble eating it because it's half gone in just a couple of bites. It is not a high quality dessert. Yikes. In fact, let me take a look quick. If I can see let's see, what in the world is that offending? Oh, well, I was going to say, what is the offending ingredient? But I don't have to look very far because the second ingredient is vegetable shortening. So the reason it seems fatty is because it is seriously fatty. I don't know that there... Okay, this is weird to say, but there aren't a whole lot of actual food ingredients in here. There's flour, vegetable shortening, eggs, sugar, butter. So there are 5 ingredients that are actual food ingredients. The rest, artificial. Unfortunate. I have a feeling that Vietnam probably has much better choices and that I did them a disservice. So I may have to investigate and do better. Okay, let's get on to vintage meets modern. So the first thing I need to do today is cover today's page somehow. And I don't want to just keep doing them the same, so I'm not going to do the other side in this paper, even though I'm tempted to, because I love it very much. And I've already done some collaging. Actually, let's take a look. Let's take a look and get some ideas from our own book here. I need to fix that. So I did a black and white version of this background, of this card background, to create that background. I'm kind of happy with that. This one doesn't really have a background. It's just sort of edged right, fat and cloudy, but it's got a great big card in it. This one, again, fat and cloudy. Oops. Oh my gosh, I wrecked a leaf. Oh my. Oh my. Let's see if that's fixable with just a little glue. If it turns out that this does not fix this problem, I'm going to have to come back to this page and repair it. Okay. Anyways, this one is also just shady, but the leaves and such are pushed to the background so that the selfies can be in the forefront. So I'm okay with that one so far. I might change these. Things might change in the near future. This one, again with the shaded background, right? But this one was collaged on top of the shaded background. Shaded background again, but everything is... But then the items on this page are part of the background. Right? The cards here are... Those are the only things not part of the background, really. This time, the shading went a little crazy and turned into a snowstorm. This time, oh, that's right, winter set in. This is where winter sets in. So actually I might make some changes to this because I will illustrate that better. So winter sets in, still a gray day, but the storm is over. So I put some sparkle on the background and some more leaves on the background. This one, it is winter time, but that is supposed to represent, that's collaged with ginger scraps. That's supposed to represent the wrapping paper piles that we all end up with at gift giving events. And then this background was collaged with ginger scraps. You know what I'm noticing? I'm noticing that when I like a thing, I do it a few times and then it ends up being in there a few times in a row. Painted background, watercolored, and then leafed, and then my favorite paper background. What I'm seeing is that I need to fix some of the early backgrounds. Oh, don't put this away yet, silly girl. And that maybe this one, to follow along with some of the choices that are being made here, maybe this one should be watercolored as well. And let me pull the Remy tag out so that this ribbon doesn't get wrecked. And we will do a quick watercolor wash on here. And when I say quick, I mean quick. I don't want to spend much time doing this. I did have to reach the floor for my watercolors. You might say, why are you reaching to the floor for watercolors? It appears that while I was busy sleeping, my kitties decided to have a party in my art studio, and I came to work this morning to a chaotic kitty kerfuffle. Let's see what we're gonna do here. I think we're gonna do the greens again, but I'll go a little bit brighter. And because the kitty kerfuffle that had occurred in my studio was a little bit daunting. Okay, not a little bit. It was a lot daunting. I have only been cleaning it in increments. So I am now in the midst of incremental kitty kerfuffle cleaning. In practice, it's not that funny. So I have to give it a crazy name, and my son helped me figure out the name because that's the kind of conversations him and I have. Anyway, my cats trashed my studio last night. Everything that I had set out and organized for this project or that project, or not even art projects, but other stuff that I end up doing, including medication boxes, etc., were all on the floor this morning. My husband and son have both pointed out, because this is not the first time, that I should probably close the studio door. That makes a lot of sense. Honest, I get it. It does. So what's the problem, you might say? Well, the problem is that my office door does not have a door handle. It has a half a handle, so I can only use the handle on one side of the door. If I have it on the inside, I can shut the door when I'm in here and I can get out. If I have it on the outside, I could shut the door at night and not let the kitties in. But I cannot trust myself to remember which side the handle's on, and did I just shut myself out of my office, or did I just lock myself in my office? You might say that this is a ridiculous issue. Why don't you fix your gosh darn door? And you would be so right. Well, I mean, why don't I? Because there's 5 million things I need to do and all kinds of things I don't get to. The number of things I don't get to is ridiculous. Okay, so I'm making the top yellow, as you can see. And I'm going to do I think red. Red. I'm doing red. That's not a me color. Oh, I'm doing a little bit of that same kind of stripe concept on the bottom in red. I have to be a little bit careful because red is obviously going to mix with the green and I'm going to end up with a mud color. So don't overmix, which I don't know about you guys, but I always overmix. What do you mean don't overmix? So I like the way the top turned out much better than the bottom, but the bottom is going to get covered quite a bit, so I don't care. I don't care. I don't care. It'll be fine. It'll be fine, I swear. She says while maniacally laughing. All right, let's put that down. Let's put this aside to dry, and let's pull out our supplies for our next part of the story. So there was a day when Effie was out traipsing the forest, and he heard the voice of his friend, Ember, out in the meadow. So he left the woods, went out into the meadow to find his friend, and discovered Ember haggard looking. Her eyes were all red, and her feathers were all ruffled, and her something else I can't think of. Why is my no. Let's get this camera right. Sorry about if I'm making you seasick. That's better. That's mostly better. So he found his friend in the meadow, and she's frantically looking for worms and big bugs and something, and she's ruffled and kerfuffled and, oh, kerfuffle must be the word of the day. And Effie walks up to her and says, "Oh my goodness, what is the matter? Your eyes are red, your feathers are ruffled. You look a mess. I'm sorry, but I don't mean anything bad. I mean, you just, what has happened?" It turned out nothing happened. It turned out that Ember is just tired. She has 5 kids at home. And yes, she is getting cooperation, right? I just can't keep up. Okay. Effie, feeling motivated by what he saw on behalf of his friend, decided to say, "You know what? I think you need a break. How about if you take the day off with the kids and you go out to the park and you spend some time in the pond and just relax for like a whole day?" And Ember laughed. "How in the world am I supposed to do that?" "I will babysit," Effie says. Again, Ember laughs. "No, Ember, stop laughing at me. I'm serious. I can handle it. And I love the kids. And I can take care of them." So Ember decides to give it a try and says, "You know, I really appreciate this. It's a super wonderful offer. We'll do this. We'll make it work." So one day Ember packs up her kids and their snacks and what have you, and Remy comes, and Remy helps deliver the children to Effie's house because they don't fly yet. But Effie needs to be where Effie can get at stuff, right? Effie can't be stuck in a nest all day. And Effie can't fly at the moment because he only has wings sometimes. Well, he has feathers sometimes. I don't know if he actually has wings ever. I don't know that. In any case, this is what happened. At Effie's house, the kids are hanging out. Yep. Yep. The kids are hanging out at Effie's house. And as they get dropped off, Ember says to Effie, don't be totally surprised if my mother shows up. And please forgive me if she says some insulting things. Because that's what she's really good at. And as I was leaving with the kids and Remy and I were moving the kids, she showed up and she, expressed some opinions that maybe she didn't think you would be up to taking care of the kids. I assured her you are. But she might show up. Effie got a little worried because, she doesn't know Ember's mom, and is she going to be nice to me? Is she going to try to eat me for dinner? No, Mom can't eat a whole Effie. She won't even try. Don't worry about that. She's quite old, and you are not on the menu. Judgment and doubt are high on her abilities list, though. Not eating an Effie. But, she might do those things. I don't know. She might come and completely behave. She might not come at all. I don't know. I told her not to. I told her, stay out of it. I said, everything will be fine. But, birds can tell where their family is from a really long ways away. So she will hear you guys talking and she will know where her family is. And I just think maybe you should be ready. Okay, so sure enough, there's all the babies hanging out at Effie's house, and the little baby girl who came a little later than her brothers, right? Effie did not do this because he was expecting company, but as part of his what? Oh, sprucing up his yard, right? He did get a new planter, and he put some mushrooms in it. He's going to grow those mushrooms. And it was sitting there, and the baby birds were hanging out, and Effie was with them for a bit. I wish I could get this proper. Or which side I meant for to be the outside. I think that's supposed to be the outside, and I just stuck glue on it. So I cut out a little flower pot from a ginger scrap and stamped a little design on it, and it's a little bit of it's a metallic finish on whatever is on this ginger scrap. Whoops, that almost worked. There we go, that totally worked. So it's a really cool metallic flower pot that now has a really cool dimensional design on it. Let's see if we can get in there and see what's going on in this picture better. We can. I always forget to move the camera in and out as often as I should, because I forget when I'm working on something this little, you guys can come in a lot closer. And then, of course, when I'm not, move it back out so you can see the whole picture, right? I just kind of screwed that up. Okay, so I'm going to pull it back up carefully. Carefully was supposed to be the operative question. I mean, word. And it actually is the operative word. But I forgot to glue the mushrooms. So let's put a little glue there. And put that back in place. Ooh, I got a curly up mushroom. There we go. All right, so we got mushrooms in a new pot at Effie's house. And Effie is hanging out outside with the kids, and he's finishing up the potting of his new plant. And the kids are kind of hanging out watching, and Effie wants to put some mulch in the pot to help the mushrooms stay healthy. So let's put a line, old glue, right across the tippy top. And let's put some of these little fuzzy cutoff bits that we've been saving from stuff right across the top. And I'm just going to let them dry for a second because I don't know what's going to stick in there and what isn't. Okay, so they're working on it, right? And then, guess what? Sure enough, Grandma comes swooping in. She's here to investigate the situation. What is going on? Effie, not necessarily pleased, but not entirely surprised that Grandma is here, has offered to go make some tea. Effie's off making tea. Grandma's here with the kids, and they start having a conversation. So I will get back to the story in just a minute here. Let's see how much of this is going to readily come off. And then we will further secure what stays. There we go. That's fine. Let's get rid of that. And let's clean up this so that there's some mulchy bits across the top of the flower pot. I like it to look a little fuzzy, right? So I don't want it totally mashed in the glue. At the same time, you don't want these things escaping, so they need to be fairly secure. That's an interesting balance. Glue them, but don't actually glue them, right? How's that look? That looks rather uneven as far as the colors go. So because I'm me, and I never like that, I'm going to take just a speck of the gold green color, if I can get it to let go of me. Once you start the glue, these floofy things just I just let go of all of it. Where did it go? Okay, so I have this piece right here, and I'm just trying to pull out the gold bits. There's a gold bit. There's a gold bit. I think I can pull that out. And I need it to be concentrated a bit, and I need it to go on this side. And is there enough glue? No, there is not. So we'll give it its own little bit of glue, and we'll stick it in there. And how did it work? Better. I like that better. Okay, good. Also, what is that? I may have ripped the flower pot. I can't see. Let me put on different glasses. Sure enough, I did. Look, I ripped the flower pot. Right there. I made a mistake. Okay, well, we're going to keep that in mind. And I may have to fix the scene because I got a little too aggressive at some point and ripped the flower pot and didn't realize it. In the meantime, we're not going to stress about that because every single thing in junk journaling, or I don't know, technically what I do isn't junk journaling that much, but you know what I mean. Junk journaling, journal making, this kind of journal, whatever. Technically there are no mistakes. I mean, sometimes, every once in a while, there's something you can't totally fix, but maybe you just save it and use it somewhere else, a different time. Maybe this just isn't its place. So there's Grandma. I have to hunch her over a little bit because she's taller than the kids, and she's looking down at the kids while she's lecturing them about being whippersnappers, and they are lecturing her about being so out of touch with modern times. Get it? Vintage meets modern. My spin on vintage meets modern. And I already know what I'm going to do to fix that flower pot faux pas, but I'll get to it later. Right now, let's see how our page is doing. So this is a close-up bit on Effie's house, and our page is what? Our page is just sort of a mock-up of the colors that might be in the foreground and background at Effie's house. So the lawn and the flowers and the who knows what. So I think I'm going to put this particular thing right about here. And I had a plan for another part of it, but now it's not going to work the way I thought. Oh, there's a big surprise. All right, we'll think about it. We're going to think about it. Here. I need to edge this in any case because I edge everything. Whether I want to or not, I have to. It's required. Of course, it is required by my own brain, but, you know, that's not me, right? Oh, wait a minute. Wait a minute. Yes, it is. All right. All right. Let's move on. So this is going to go somewhere around right here-ish. And then we're going to need to rethink what my next part of the story is. Because I just want you to know, before I completely move on and figure out the next problem, because I definitely ran into a problem here, is where is Effie and why is the tea taking so long? Well, Effie is having a fabulous time making tea and listening to the conversation. He's in the house and he is peeking out the window. the window, the window. He's peeking out the window. When Effie is in the house making the tea and taking a long time because he is listening to this conversation between the generations, and it is a hoot to listen to them argue about all the silly things. But sure enough, that's what the generations do. They argue about all the silly things. These birdies being no different. So that is the story, and that's where our Effie is. And Effie, I need Effie to be on some kind of card or tag or something that tucks in. So there's a few things that are wrong with this page that I didn't anticipate. And I should have, actually. It's not like it's a big surprise, right? That change what I'm going to be able to do. One of them being that I wanted to do a side tuck. And I can't because this is where the 3 rings are. The next one being that I wanted this to have more than one tuck-in space, which is still doable, but I'll need to measure what's going to go in here and how that's going to work, since I'm going to have to do it this side and the top rather than this side and the top, etc. Also, which I mean, I didn't do it ahead of time anyway. But now the Effie piece, instead of being a sideways thing, has to be an up and down thing. That's kind of my point there. Another obstacle to this little idea is, how do I make it so that Effie will always show up at the right spot? First things first, I think what I'm going to do is turn Effie peeking through the window into a bookmark. So let's do that and build a bookmark out of ginger scraps. Quite possibly including this gold polka dot piece. I wanted to use this on the polka dot and plaid page. It just became unnecessary, but I like to repeat patterns, so maybe adding polka dot would be fun. What kind of background? Do we just do a plain background for the polka dots? I mean, that's fine, but it's not exciting. And it doesn't really show off the polka dots. Do we maybe do book page behind the polka dots? Possibly. I'm not sure. I don't think I care for the book page either. What about this? This is what I originally took out, but this is also what I made the flower pot out of, and I want to use it again. All right, what about this thingy that we ended up not using yesterday? It's an awfully short bookmark though, isn't it? Maybe the polka dots are the problem. Let's try a different ginger scrap. Ooh, there's a nice big long one. And wait, if I turn it this way, it goes with the way we painted the page too, right? The yellow at the top, and then it got to ground level. So I bet I could make a bookmark like that. Let's start with this and see where this one can go. Here is something that might be good. Let's see what this looks like behind it. Oh, and I have it on the wrong side. There we go. That certainly looks interesting, but I don't know if I like it with what we're doing right now. Okay, try book page again. What does book page look like back there? I mean, it is a bookmark, right? Use a bookmark to make book page? I mean, no. Use book page to make a bookmark? Or, you know, whatever. Whatever. You can, whatever. I kind of like this plan. I think the book page really takes the yellowish away from this cream color though. So it no longer matches the color scheme so great. Does it if we turn it over? Well, I mean, yeah, but that's a bit much. That's a bit much for what we're doing. What if I add just another little dimension? That's kind of pointless. What if I add, what if I add some more chaotic dimension? That just takes away from the whole book page idea. What if I do take away the whole book page idea and add this page idea? Does that design show up behind there? No. Okay. I don't know how long I'm going to keep you guys with all the yeses and nos, but this is why there's a ton of stuff that I just don't record, because this is ridiculous, but this is what I do. I sit and debate and debate and debate. Not good enough. This is wrong. Wrong shape, wrong color, wrong whatever. Does that add some of the yellow back in? Oh, it does. Okay, I like that. We're going to use that underneath for sure, but we need something longer underneath. So, and I just may have changed my mind. Good grief, girl. Come on. Okay. Okay. I'm going to pause for a minute. Hopefully I'll come back with some better answers and a closed door, because the TV just went on and I'm recording. So that will distract me. Hold on. Huh. Okay, ta-da! I'm back. I'm going to pull out a little more again. I have an idea. It is a two-story idea. Two-staged, two-part. It is an idea, hopefully, to solve two issues. We'll see. So, my first idea is this little piece of paper that I'm cutting out right now to be the bookmark that Mr. Effie is on. I'll set this aside. We're going to need it again. And I believe it's going to be backed with this piece of ginger scrap, but not yet, because we have to, I'm going to measure a little bit first, make sure that this is right. And I'm thinking that Effie is in the house having such a good time. Part of the reason he's having such a good time is because he's starting to think about time again. He does that a lot. I don't know if you've noticed, but he does. And the conversation between the babies and Grandma has got him thinking about modern day life versus like nearly a lifetime ago, right? When it's Grandma. I mean, that was even before Effie was born, so more than his lifetime ago. And he is Just thinking about how much has changed over the years. How much is different? How much is the same? Like the funny argument between the grandma and the kids. That happens every generation, doesn't it? So I want a fairly long bookmark because I like that. But it needs to be pocketable. It needs to have pocket space. And I have a plan that means it can't be this tall. So I'm actually going to chop that off right at that line. This is going to get chopped off right here. I don't know what's going to happen after that yet, but I at least have the piece I want for the bookmark. That's it right there. Let's get it stuck to this piece of paper after I get it bordered, because, you know, brain requirements, again, still, always. I cannot do it any other way, apparently. Except on one page I did, the Nature's Treasure, I totally left the leaves unbordered. And I swore I was going to do it on the Recycled Fairy page, and I didn't. I couldn't do it. I tried. My heart was in the right place. I meant to leave the spring leaves unbordered. And I couldn't do it. Okay. Okay, sit there. Let's get this put down. So this is just giving a writing space on the back if anybody wants it, while it lends some strength to the bookmark itself. And the fact that it's kind of used and grunged up paper is just a bonus. We get a grunge look no matter what, which, I mean, you get one no matter what with me anyway, because, you know, I'm not one of those neat and tidy crafters. I'm one of those big fat mess crafters. I mean, which is maybe why the kitty kerfuffle happened in here, right? Maybe I left things too tidy, and the cats were like, here, let's help Mom. She likes things a big fat mess. Well, they might have got a little carried away with helping. I'm just saying. Kitty exuberance may have gone a little overboard. Alright, I'm going to redo this because there's some showing. There's some difference between the front and the back showing in the front. And then I'm going to do it on the back too, because I want to a hard line on this. So I'm not going too far into the paper, but I am making sure it's a solid line anyway. There we go. Okay, this is really wet right now, so it's a little floppy, and I want to know how sturdy it's going to be once it's dried. The glue and the layers will meld as it dries to give it some heft. In the meantime, we can figure out where the Effie should go, and if there's anything else that should go on this bookmark. So the first thing I think I should do is mark a place for Effie. So I want this to be over to the side enough so that there's gluing space here that won't interfere with the placement of the bookmark. And I also need the gluing space at the bottom. but not necessarily as much. Because I have a plan for making sure Effie ends up in the right place every time. Every time. Let's see if this is where I want it to end up. Yeah, I guess it is. I mean, this is, oh shoot, and then I moved it. This is actually pretty straight. So let's go ahead and do that. And then I don't know how to exactly make sure that Effie, I don't know how to do this. Okay, I don't want the bookmark to move at all. But I want Effie to be positioned so he's looking out the window. I think I like that. Maybe. Good grief. Am I the pickiest person you've ever seen doing this stuff? I mean, seriously, millimeters of inches make a difference to me. It's a little ridiculous. It's a lot ridiculous, actually. Okay. I want Effie right there. This is my Effie spot. So I'm going to get him glued down somehow without moving him a speck. Because as you saw just now, a speck is too much for my brain to handle. All right, I will, I was gonna say, I will glue the other side of Effie when that side dries so I don't wreck it. And you know what? I don't have patience either. I can't handle even things being a little off what my brain should think they are, or my brain thinks they should be. There we go. And then I also don't have the patience to make sure things are the way I want them. Oh, the ridiculousness that is the me. All right, so there's where he's going to be on the card. And then this is how I want the card to end up. I've just decided that I need to help this card out a little bit in that I'm going to trim one of Effie's window ornaments. I think I can cut this little piece out and you will still be able to see the thing hanging in the window. But the stuff behind the thing hanging in the window will be gone. And we can tell more that Effie is peeking out his window. He's peeking out the window, the window. Oh, and I broke it. Of course I did. What else would I do? That's the second break in the Effie window. I may pull this off yet, or I may have to repair it because I already have one space I have to repair anyway. Why won't that come undone? Aha! I think I got it. I saw it move. There we go. Actually, that did not get too terribly wrecked, so I can fix that one, but I don't know. Can you see that right there, there's a bar missing from Effie's window. I broke it. Not only did I break it when I tried to cut this out, but then my cat sat on the little piece of bar that I saved and was going to put back in place. Of course he did. And he is a giant floofy cat too, the one that sat on it. So let's see how much difference that makes. Oh, that makes a ton of difference. I am so happy with that. I'm so happy with that. That is great. Where are we at? Oh, I'm hoping I can do enough in 10 minutes. Okay. At the very least, let's see what we can do to make sure that this bookmark, however it ends up being, ends up in the correct position every time. So I think this is where I said I want it. Let's go ahead and flip to the front again just to make sure. Oh, shoot. Is that better? But that means it's in there lopsided. Oh my goodness, what have I done? What have I done? Good enough. I like it. Okay. Here's what we're going to use to get it to stay in place while we work on our permanent solution. Washi tape. I don't know if you know this. A lot of people don't realize this, but washi tape is not supposed to be permanent. It's supposed to be repositionable. I hear a lot of complaints about washi tape doesn't really stick. Well, it's not supposed to. That's why it doesn't. So if you want your washi tape to be a permanent stick, that is totally doable, but you are going to have to add another layer. Let's just stick this down in place. Okay, I did that one too far. That's going to be in the way. Okay, you're going to be in the way. You need to come up. Okay, now here's the way we're going to make sure Effie is peeking out the window every time this bookmark comes out or gets put away. We're going to make this ginger scrap into a backing for this pocket. I really do love this ginger scrap, and I wanted to use it for the bookmark. It did not turn out to be something I can't think of, apparently. It did not turn out to be what I used for the bookmark, but I still want to use it on the page. So I will use a tearing ruler. I don't think I'm going to tear down that side because it's all right that it's going to be straighter because it needs to be along the rings. And this is already looking about the correct width. I don't want to take off too much width of this and then be really sad that I screwed it up. And then I can't use it. Okay. So I want this yellow bit coming out the top. I wouldn't mind the orange bit at the bottom either. But there has to be a ledge created that I'm going to create a ledge that the bookmark can sit on. And here's how we're going to do that. Sounds intimidating, really. So I think we're going to need washi tape again. I should be using a different washi tape because I actually got this very specific washi tape for a project. And here I am using it for throwaway bits when I have plenty of washi tapes that I don't particularly use. I was going to say I don't particularly care for, but that's not true. I like them. They're pretty. They're just not my particular style, so I don't end up using them. Okay, there we go. Now here's what we're going to do to create a pocket. Or actually, what did I call it? A ledge. We're going to create a ledge. And what the heck? Okay. Well, apparently we're going to start over because washi tape does not stick to that paper very well. Sorry about this. And yeah, I'm very sorry about this, people. Very sorry indeed. Let's put that right there, and we'll put the page right back on the edge again. I mean the pocket thingy that we're making. And let's stick. You must stay there. Stay there. Okay. Not forever, just for now. Alright. So here's what I want to do. I want to hold this in place and see where the bottom of the bookmark is. It's right there. I'm making a fold line just with my fingernail, right? You could do it with a bone folder if you have one, and I do. They're just over there. It's hard to reach, you know, right there. This is another way I like to make creases that I need is this. This ruler is handy for so many things. So it's Empire, and it's actually a 6-inch ruler, but it has a 1-inch extra bit, so that super helps in micro measuring and when I have to go the other direction for something. And it's sturdy. Okay, I hope that worked. So I'm going to fold it on the line I just created. Make sure I got it nice and straight. It's going to be important to make sure that I follow that line. If I'm looking for precision, which we already established I am, so there's where it's going to go. And it's going to go the opposite direction. So I need to fold this under. And then I'm going to have to fold it back. This is not as much precision, but this will create the depth of my pocket. So if I want my pocket to be... This might make it really hard to put the bookmark away. I wonder if I wonder if I've done this all wrong. So this is going to go under the bookmark, and then I want it to come back. I'm not sure I've done myself any favors here, but we're going to find out in just a minute because I'm almost done. And I feel like I'm engineering something bizarre. And I have a feeling it might not be all that great of a mechanism. Okay. And now, to make sure that no matter what else happens, I know where this glues. I'm going to use this same ruler. Here's one of the cooler things I like to do with this ruler. I can butt it right up against some kind of stock, like in this case it's the pocket we're making, and just sneak my finger blade right in between the ruler and the substrate and use it as a cutting edge, just like that. Now, this is 100% not what I originally planned on. And I realize now the actual engineering mistake that I made. So I may use this technique again, only fixing what I did wrong someday. But right now we're going to see if this will work. Okay, that's got it in place. Let's just go with that right now, and let's remove some washi tape. So that we can finish the gluing and see if this is going to work on the page. And if it does, yay! And if it doesn't, well, I mean, there's always a way to fix stuff. Okay, let's take the tape off the bookmark. Oh, and I ripped it. Of course I did. After I got done telling you that washi tape is temporary, I ripped my bookmark. Because it's, I mean, it's what I do. Okay, that goes right there. One thing we're going to do is put some glue under here. I don't know if I'm going to be sorry about that either, because that might soak through. If it does, then I've just glued my ledge closed. I'm going to put some glue right at the edge right here, because I think this is going to be my problem spot. If my bookmark just gets hung up on this little edge right here, it's not going to sit where it's supposed to. So that's where my mistake is, and I know how I did it and why I did it. I'm not going to say it now because it'll just get super confusing, but I intended the paper to sit a different way than what I actually did. So my fault, not thinking, but it's hard to do things upside down and backwards. At least that's my reasoning for getting it wrong. And what I really should do is make this idea upright and then not glue it, deconstruct it so I can see when you have to do it upside down and backwards, what does that look like? Okay. Got some spare glue where the paper is cut. That's okay. All right. Now, here's what should happen. We'll see if it actually does. Here's what should happen. Well, okay, I already see one thing I've done wrong. Whatever. Can't change it now. It's already done. What should happen here is that when I put Effie in the bookmark, when I put Effie in the bookmark pocket, he shows up in the window. And now I see another flaw in my plan. I've accomplished the up and down part, but not the side to side. And here's the other part I forgot that I was doing on purpose. So now I don't have the orange sticking out the bottom. Why? Because I've used it all up in the fold, and then I cut what little bit was left right off the page. So I think I'm going to glue it right back on the page and just have it like that. It'll just have a little tiny orange border sticking out the bottom. That's actually just fine. It doesn't need to be a lot as long as it's echoing some of the colors that are in the page to bring those to the forefront, right? I made this pocket too wide, so Effie getting in the window is still a little bit precarious. However, I am pretty happy with the up and down measurement. Pretty happy. Let's get a bunch of these pieces in place, and then we'll call it a day, because man, this might be the longest one yet. Good grief, girl. Good grief. I would have liked it if I could do this the other way so that the orange wasn't like a straight line on the bottom. There's too little of it to tear, so I can't tear that edge, and I can't do it upside down because the glue would take up more of the color than tearing would even. So this is just the way it's gonna be. Now, for this part, I am going to glue the entire bookmark pocket. Get away from me. I'm going to glue the entire bookmark pocket. Hopefully this does not go through. Whoops. Hopefully this does not go through and completely close my pocket. I don't think it will, because this is kind of like wax paper that this ginger scrap is made of. So I'm thinking I'm good. This is certainly something to remember if I make another shelf, internal shelf like this again. This part I'm going to close across the top and across the bottom only, because I still think I can side tuck something. And why close up a window for creativity if you don't have to? Yeah. All right. And I think we're going to go right there. Sunny, you're going to have to wait a minute. I know you want to get out, but you were also the one who wanted to get in. Now you're in, and the door is closed because the TV's on, and you're just going to have to wait, lady cat. Alright, I just stuck this glue stick in the little canister I put my glue sticks in without the cover. That ought to be interesting. I bet there's a pile of glue stick under there. And actually, I've messed up on this edge because I forgot that this, when it doesn't have any paper, I thought, oh, you can't put glue there, but it still needs to be glued on the very edge. There we go. Something I like about this ruler, and don't like about it all at the same time, this is very flimsy. It is so flippin' thin. It bends really easy. I'm afraid I'll wreck it super easy. You have to hold it down really tight in order to do, you know, use the tearing edges for it, because it will wreck itself just by using it without, if you don't hold it down with some force. All right. What I do like about it though is that it is super thin, and this is one of the ways that I make sure that I haven't glued a pocket shut. This really super thin. Or if I have glued something too much, this actually acts kind of as a saw and will open up a thing almost every time without wrecking the paper. Interesting things I find out when I make mistakes. Oh wait, no mistakes. When I have happy accidents, when I posed myself some interesting challenges. Okay, it looks like it's not glued down. It looks like the window and the ledge I made are in the right positions. This bookmark isn't even sort of done. The page is not even sort of done, but I've already taken stupid amounts of long time in this one. And look, it won't go in. Gosh darn it. Hold on, people. Let me see if I can squish down that piece again. You know, it might have just got a little warped because of the glue. It might have just got a little bit warped. So I'll try to push it back down. All right, let me see. Let me see here. Nope, I can't get it in the pocket. Why? Why can't I get it in the pocket? I'm not sure what's happening in here, people. I think I'm going to have to quit for the day, and you will have to return tomorrow? No. No. This isn't till when? Oh my gosh, you will have to return next Monday to see if I was able to fix this problem and figure out what I did. Oh my goodness. Okay, well, I'll see you then. Wish me luck.